Welcome to the Kingdoms and Castles tutorial. I'm Kiku, together we're online, and let's start this. We're going to start off the tutorial by starting off with a new kingdom. We're going to select the medium difficulty because that's going to allow us, for the purpose of the video, to show how to start off your kingdom while also dealing with the inevitable Viking raids and dragon attacks. So we're just going to accept this land, and this is just basic graphics, doesn't matter, you can select your name there for the kingdom. And the first order of business is we got to drop down our keep. So we're going to find a nice piece of land where there is going to be some decent fertile soil. And you can tell which one's fertile just by the color. So the dark green is very fertile, light green is fertile, and then barren, you cannot grow any food. So let's see, let's just start it over here, I suppose. We're just going to select the castle tab, keep, and then we're just going to rotate it around so it's facing us at our preferred viewpoint or camera angle. So that's going to start building now. And what we need to do is start off by getting houses and farms. And everything in the game is everything you're going to be building in the game is going to be based off your road plan. So you kind of want to have that settled out. You could click on the keep and you'll have advisors, agriculture, city, and military. And here are your initial peasants. And they all have the sign above their head that they need a house. So you can click town, and for now we'll just have basic hovels. And we'll just we'll just place it over here. We'll build 2 of them. Or no, we can't. We don't have enough resources. We only got 2 wood remaining, and you can see that at the bottom left. So what we can do is select the trees and chop them down so we can get some more wood. If you look down at the panel as well, you have stone, you have farms, which are your basic food, and gold and other resources, but the ones at the end here, we don't need to worry about that so much at the moment. Right now what we're concerned about is our wood and our food. So with 5 peasants, we're not going to lose that much food immediately, but we do want to build a town, so we're going to need wood for houses, we're going to need wood to build farms, and those farms are going to provide the food that's going to allow the town to grow. So we could just click food, farms, and we're right. Okay, so there's a good example here. So we want to build farm on the fertile soil, but it's outside the range of the road, so we need to connect that. So what we're going to do is build farms in this square right here. So we're going to need some roads to deal with that. We're going to click town, road, and then we're just going to have some roads coming down like that. So we want this circle here. And then what shall we do? Build another road system coming down like that. So they're going to start building the roads. Food, farm, we could start building the farm now. We don't want it there. We want the thing. Okay, we're going to want our square here. So let's just demolish that road. Right. So we can build a farm there, farm there, a farm here. Just so we know, this is the square, the 3x3 square that we're going to want. I'm just going to chop some more trees. Very simple. And now that we have 11 wood, we're going to build another hovel. And you can rotate the buildings by pressing the R key. And let's build another one. So we're going to have like a tiny row of houses here. If you click on the house, you can see that there's a happiness score. If your villagers or peasants are too unhappy, they're going to leave town, and you can see some of the things they need access to increase their happiness. So they need charcoal, they want neighbors, nobody wants to be alone. They need access to roads, and they need access to a well. So for the well, which you'll find in the town key, you're going to need stone. We have 0 stone, so what we're going to need to do is get access to stone, and stone will be these white rocks over here. You can click it, stone available to quarry. Then you have the black ones, unusable stone. They're just impediments to your growing town, which you can remove, but it's going to take time to get there. And then lastly, you have iron, which is used for other things. So I believe this stone is probably the closest, and we already have a road network going on. So we'll just build over there. We can click the industry tab. Not sure if you can see it. I'll just move the webcam for a moment, and yep, the industry tab, click that, and you'll have the quarry. It costs 15 stone, 15 wood. So we're gonna need more wood. That's what I'm trying to say. So we'll chop more trees. So once we have the quarry set up, we're going to build a forester, and I'm just going to skip to that part. So now we have about 17 wood. That means we can click the industry tab, start the quarry. It's got to be adjacent to the rock, so we can move the camera by pressing Q and E, and right here it's adjacent to the rock, so we're going to build it there, and it has access to the road within a tile or two. So that's going to start getting built now. We're just going to see. Okay, so the advisor says we have construction but no one available to build it. Perhaps we should temporarily close other buildings to build new homes. So if you want to close a building, you have this option here. You can click open, which if it's not checked, it's a closed building. Nobody's going to work it, and you're going to free up a peasant to be able to do some manual labor tasks like resource gathering or building. But we want our farms to be working, and we do have some available peasants to actually build, so they're going to be bringing in the material to build. And then the quarry is going to open, and the quarry does need permanent villagers to work that and to gather the stone. Now for the meantime, the keep is able to store some material, but it can't hold that much. So what you would need to do in the future is go to the industry tab and then build stockpiles. So we'll do that when it's necessary. So while this is being built, we do have a bit of a surplus of wood. What we want to do is have a constant stream of that wood surplus. So we need to build a forester, but we need 15 wood, so we're going to have to manually cut down trees again, and we also need 5 stone. So once we have those resources available, then we're going to build a forester, and we'll jump to that part too. Our quarry is fully staffed. It's producing about 12 stone a year, and a year is pretty short in this game. You have 22 wood, and we have 22 wood and 6 stone. So we're going to build a forester, which is going to automatically cut down trees and replant trees, so we don't have to manually do that every time. So we have the items, and we're going to place it maybe over here. So there's a lot of wood there. One thing to note, you cannot build a forester without any trees. You need to have one tree in that specific zone where they're going to work. So if we could see, if we move it up a bit here, suddenly we can build it. So we want to place the forester over here a little bit away from the settlement, so they're not troubled by the settlement, so they have room to grow trees and chop trees. But the road is too far away. It needs access to the road. So what we're going to do first is build a bit of a road network up there, and then once that is in range, then we could plop it down. Even though the roads aren't built, the system is set up. So now we're going to unpause, and we're going to let that happen. Another thing to note while they're building the roads and the forestry is that your farms produce the food throughout the warm season, but the moment winter starts, that's the harvest season. Your villagers need to transport that food very quickly. Otherwise, you're going to lose all your food to the frost. So you want to have your storage facilities close by the farms so that they don't have to move too far. Otherwise, you're going to have starvation issues. So now that we have the forestry coming up, we're going to check out what this agricultural dude says. We grow more food than we can store. We need granaries. So right now We have about 46 food and we can only hold 50, so what we do need is a granary system. We're going to go to food, and then right now we want to build a small granary. We need 15 wood and 5 stone. Now we have about 16 wood and we have the appropriate stone, so what we're going to do is click food. We're going to build a small granary next to our farm system, and well, there is the entrance, not bad. So we're just going to place that down there. Thing to note, I do believe we are actually short on workers. So we got about 15 residents, but no more houses for people to move in, and people are busy working jobs in the quarry, in the forestry, and on the farms. So what we need to do, go to town, we're going to build some more hovels, and we're just going to place them along there. We don't have more wood, so we can't set up another building. Yep, there's no idle workers available. We have 22 stone. We don't need it right now, so we're going to close that. Now we've freed up about 3 people, and they're going to start construction on the buildings that we need. And once we have that house up, that allows new residents to move in, so we can open up the quarry again, because then we'll have idle residents. We dropped the plots for a couple more houses. Now the problem is that even though we're in a little bit of a food surplus, we're going to get a big influx, about double our current population. So what we need to do is keep up with the food demand. So we're going to also build some more farms. And we're just going to build it in a pattern like this, keeping up with the square plan. And we're going to leave this plot empty, because if you go into the food and windmill, you'll notice that it improves, or the windmill improves, the productivity of adjacent farms. So it'll affect all about 8 of these farms, and you could do like a double adjacent thing. So we have a windmill here, and we'll have a windmill here, and then that will affect a bunch of these farms as well. So they'll get even more bonus. Now we're just going to check the advisor. Agriculture says took too long to store our harvest. That's because we didn't have productive citizens and they weren't able to store food properly. The peasants are mostly fine, but we could do better. Try examining a house to see how to improve living conditions. Alright, so we need access to charcoal. It's probably to keep them warm during the winter, and they need access to a well. So we can do that. We'll go to the town. Now we need a well. And you can see the radius where the well serves. It's highlighted in blue. And we're just gonna keep it over here. Yeah, it's a good, decent place. So it's gonna hit all the houses, it's gonna make them happy, and it's gonna serve a purpose for some of the other buildings. If they ever do catch fire, the peasants will be able to draw water from the well to combat that fire problem. So now we have construction going on there. And we have enough idle citizens that 3 people can work on the well, building that. We also have our farm system set up, and with the granary, it added about 200 slots for, or it increased our storage capacity by 200. So if we are in a surplus of food, there will not be a shortage because we couldn't store all that food. We're going to turn on the quarry again, and about only 3 out of 4 people can work there, so that means we need more citizens because we have citizens working farms. Oh, we have 4 of 4 now. That's decent. So what we're going to do is build another hovel, or we can build a cottage which houses 12 peasants, costs 25 wood and 10 stone, but we can afford that, so that's what we're going to do. Or okay, now we have a dragon sighting, and the dragon's coming here from all the way up there, and it is going to go towards our town. Now if we're lucky, just because we started out very early on the map, the dragon's going to fly around and scare us. There is a possibility that the dragon is going to start breathing fire down, and we're going to have to deal with that if it happens. Now, how do you protect yourself from the dragon? You're going to need to go into the castle menu. We're going to have to start building castle blocks, which is the basis of your castle walls and your defenses, and on top of that we'll place archer towers and ballista towers. We don't have the resources to build that just yet. So we have over 25 citizens. We're now no longer a hamlet, we're a small village. And yep, looks like the dragon decided to breathe fire on our keep, but all the peasants they're Russian. They're gonna save it. So we got the well there, and we got some water over here. So hopefully the keep does not go down in flames. Eventually, the dragon is just gonna disappear on his own. Or we could kill it. We can't kill it at the moment because we don't have the capability. Now, we're looking at building a castle block and we want defenses, but as you notice, we need 3 different kinds of resources. We need 25 wood, 5 stone, and 20 gold. We do not have any gold at the moment. How do we get that? We're going to need to build a treasury room. So we're going to need 50 stone and 10 wood for that. So we're going to be looking towards getting more stone. Another thing to note about food production here, farms can get flooded due to heavy rains, and that harvest is lost. So you're not getting any food from that. How do you protect yourself from something like that? You need to build an orchard. Orchards produce a little bit less food, but they do not flood and you're always guaranteed that food. And with our 15 wood, we're going to click food, select orchard, and build it near our granary. But the soil is not fertile enough for this particular position, so we're going to move it up here a bit. And it's still relatively close. It's not bad. So we'll build an orchard here. Our advisors are saying something again. The city peasants think we're doing a great job. That means they're happy. Their needs are being met. The military says, did you see the dragon? Perhaps we should build some defenses in case it ever decides to return. And I agree with that. But we need gold. Now, while we're waiting to get the 50 stone, we're clicking around the hovels to see how happy they are, and we still haven't met their charcoal demand. So we're going to go into the industry tab over there, and we're going to look for the charcoal maker. They need 15 wood. We're going to get that in just a second. So if you read the description, makes charcoal used for heating, cooking, and smithing. It produces smoke, which is going to make the homes unhappy, so we're going to build it a little bit away from the homes, and we'll build it on the barren land, or yeah, we can use that spot for another quarry, but the quarry doesn't work diagonally, so we'll build our charcoal maker right over there. What's going to happen is they're going to take the wood resource and turn that into charcoal, and then it'll be distributed throughout your population. So while that's building, we're just going to check on the other houses. 6 of 12 residents, and if you look up here in the top left, 4 people visited the kingdom or our town, but only 3 found a satisfactory home to stay. So it's going to take some time for all of the houses to fill up, but I think most of the hovels are pretty filled up right now. So now we have the resources to go to the castle and build that treasury room, and we're just going to build it right alongside the keep just for aesthetics. Would here be good? Yeah, let's do it here. So now that's going to be building, and just make sure we have enough workers. 5 of 5 working on the treasury room. So when that is set up, we're going to have to click back onto that building and set our tax rate, which would be 1, 2, 3 gold per month, I believe. Once you start taxing your citizens, it's going to draw away from their happiness. So we're going to try to do other things that will encourage them to be happy. We do have more buildings in the town tab for that. So for just a moment, we're going to turn our gaze over to the quarry again, over here. Now you see the citizens walking down here, grabbing stone, and then moving it all the way into the keep supply. This is it's relatively a long distance travel. It's unnecessary because they could be spending more time working. How do you cut that out? Well, you go into the industry tab, and then we'll build a small stockpile. And we're just going to build it right near the quarry. So that's going to get built, and then they won't need to travel all the way to the keep. They'll be able to just drop the stone off right there. Same thing for the forestry. We're going to build another stockpile for them just over here on this barren land. Okay. check our advisors again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Alright. The treasury room is now built. It takes about 5 workers to fully staff it. And we're taxing our peasants at 1 gold at the moment. The more houses we have, the more gold we're going to get. The amount of workers you have in a building matters to a degree. For example, the forestry, you could have 2 of 3 workers, they'll cut down trees, but unless you have 3 of 3, they're not going to be planting new trees. So you got that going. Well, we have that going for us right now, which is nice. As you can see, even though they've been cutting down trees, there's still plenty of trees around them in their working radius, which is like outlined by this here, which I believe is about 3 units away from the building. Our food is in a very great surplus. We actually built a very nice area in a very nice area. We're at about 42 citizens and we're not losing food. We've been gaining food. So we can afford to build some more houses. We'll click on the cottage and they're getting 8 happiness from the well, but they don't have any neighbors. So what we'll do is give them a neighbor. Now these guys are far away from the road, they're not going to be happy about that, so we'll go to the town tab and just build some roads so they're connected. And then we could probably build another cottage here, but that's going to cost 25 wood and we're at 19. So we'll just wait for that at the moment. Shouldn't be too far. And remember, you could still manually cut down trees. So any idle villagers will go to those trees and cut it down. Here's something interesting to note as well. We'll just zoom in. So here's a stockpile. We built this for the quarry, but people are dumping wood in there. So what you could do is click on the building and then you'll have the list of what could be dropped off in there. We're going to click off wood. We'll keep charcoal. We'll click iron. We'll click tools and we'll click armaments. So the only thing now that can be stored in this stockpile will be the stone and charcoal, because we don't want these guys moving too far away. Same thing over here. For some reason they're placing stone there. No stone, no charcoal, and we'll take the rest of that off. So the only thing that can be stored in here is wood. So the foresters don't have to move too far. Now we do have our resources available to build a cottage, so we're just going to rotate it to face the road. And you know, we're just, maybe we want to have another road coming up this way, so place it there. And we're going to build a little bit more roads, just going up here. And then we want to give this guy a neighbor, so we'll build a hovel right there. So that's going to get built. Check our advisors again. Okay. We could build a town square. So we'll go to the town. And if you look at the town square, it holds festivals to increase happiness, and it will attract new peasants, so it doesn't take such a long time for your town to grow. But now we are moving, we're spreading out a bit. We were trying to keep everything close together, because if a raid did happen, we want to be able to easily defend everything, and we're not in a very rich position at the moment. So now that we're spreading out, we should think about defenses. So we're going to go to castle and we're going to build a castle block. It takes 5 stone, 15 wood. So build one there. Can we build another? Yes, we can. So we'll build that. Now, if you have singular castle blocks, the highest you could build on top of each other would be 3. But if you have adjacent castle blocks, you build those higher, and then you can keep going higher with each of them. The higher castle block or wall is, the harder it is to destroy. Also, for your armaments, like the ballista or archers, they can shoot further. So, right now, this is going to be a basic defense. So we're just going to build a 3-level thing. We need more stone, so we're just going to wait for that. In fact, we could actually go to industry, and we're going to build another quarry to speed up stone production. So the thing we're looking out for right now. We were looking out for the castle block to finish so that we could build an archery tower. Cost 25 wood, 5 stone, and 20 gold. So we could place that on top of there. Can you place it on the keep? No. So you got to build custom walls for that. We're getting the gold from the treasury room, and the gold is collected from the peasants, which makes them unhappy. And we've been having a problem with people not moving into houses. So like this cottage, 0 of 12 residents, because things are a little bit unhappy. Now we met our goal of wanting to build that archery tower. It's affecting our growth though, collecting taxes. So what we're going to do is set it the rate to 0. So the peasants are a little bit happier now. People will move in, and we have the gold needed to build that archery tower. So we're going to build that there, and you're going to see the radius of what it will protect. So if we have Vikings or dragons come in this zone, the archery tower will fight. The higher the walls, the larger the radius is going to be. Now, if we're worried about the happiness of our citizens, we can go into the town tab, and there are a few buildings that can help us out. One would be the church, the library, town square, a tavern, and the no, not the hospital. The hospital's for something else. But since we're worried about our resources right now, what we can do is build the town square. That does not cost any gold. And you can see the radius that the town square will affect. And we'll probably place it right here. And then with the town square, we could pay some gold to hold a festival. It'll make people happier and it'll attract new citizens. Also, now that we're building the town square, got to make sure that everything's on the up and up. And if we look down, the harvest is coming in. Our food is going back up while we were maxed out at 250 earlier. It looks like we're not maxing out anymore. That means we're growing and we're starting to eat a little bit more food than we can produce. So we want to continue looking towards our farms. So what we can do is just build another farm on this fertile land. And a fire has broken out. Now you'll see villagers grabbing water from water sources or from the well. And they're going to try and extinguish that flame. And there we go. So if they're not able to extinguish the fire, you're going to lose that building, whether it's a farm or anything else. Thankfully that hasn't happened. We built another farm. Maybe not the best of places right now. We'll come back to that after. And the town square is up. We'll check this cottage, and now it's maxed out, 12 of 12, and the hovel, 5 of 5. So that means we don't have any new space for people to move in, so we gotta look forward and build some more houses. So we'll go to town, and we'll build another road up here. We were concerned about our food issue, the food decreasing a little bit. What we can do now is go to food, the food tab, build that windmill. Just gonna rotate it. Doesn't matter the position for the windmill. I'm just doing it for the aesthetic. And then we'll build that. Make sure we have enough builders for it. 5 of 5, excellent. So they're gonna be bringing the resources over there, and that is going to affect the production of all the farms in the surrounding vicinity, and we're gonna get more food out of those farms. Another fire on the treasury, and that's kind of an expensive building in the early game, but we have enough water resources. It's within the vicinity of the well as well, so the fire shouldn't spread to anything else, and yeah, that's gonna be good. And got destroyed. So we're going to need to build another treasury room, castle, treasure room, and place it down. And that's going to get built. 5 of 5, 5 of 5. So we got at least 10 idle workers able to build and gather resources. Not bad. Some of the peasants are unhappy. Perhaps we should build a church or a library. Both of those are good, but we need resources for that. So for the church, it's about 50 wood, 85 stone, and 50 gold. Expensive. For the library, 15 wood, 30 stone, and 30 gold. Sounds better off the bat, but the library costs gold over time as well to continue operating efficiently. So, oh, and now the marketplace caught fire. Or not the marketplace, the town square. So that's going to get extinguished, hopefully. And good. Looks like our villagers did a great job. And as you can see, we're out of gold, and now the archery tower, we can't pay our soldiers, and it's inoperable. We're going to have to start taxing the citizens permanently now, I do believe. So we're just waiting for that treasury room to finish up, and it's finished. Click it. I'm going to tax them 1 gold. The farm is outputting 13 food per season, or per year. The base output is 6 for a farm. Because it's on high soil fertility, we're getting +4 food. Because it's next to a windmill, +3. And if we had a Grand Master peasant, it would increase the food further. So your peasants actually do gain skills working in certain areas. So this peasant used to be an archer, but because we ran out of money, he had to leave that profession, and he became a journeyman agriculturalist, or working on the farm. But now we have a new citizen operating the archery tower, or 2 of them, and we finally have gold to pay them again, so that's nice. We could increase the taxes to get gold faster, but we don't want to hurt our happiness in the meantime because we don't have good network built up. So what we're going to be working towards is the library. We should have enough resources to build the library, and we can see the radius in which it affects. So we don't have any houses over on this side, and we're planning on moving out a little bit westward. So we'll just rotate that. Oh, it'll face the town square. Yep. Okay, perfect. So that's going to get built. And that's going to increase happiness over time up to a maximum of +20. And I do believe it takes about 20 years. So you get 1 extra happiness every year. But gold is necessary to keep it operating, and we're gonna have to increase taxes, which is gonna make citizens a bit more unhappy. But over time, the library does pay off. And we also have alternative sources that do not cost gold, like the tavern, which we're going to build next, and we're going to place it in this vicinity. We're just waiting for the resources and cut some extra wood to try and speed it up. Yep, and we have enough builders to work on the library. And some of our farms are flooded at the moment. They will not be giving food, but we do have the orchard, which does not flood, and it's a reliable source of food. And we have the increased productivity because of the windmill. So as we're looking to the future expansion of this castle town, we're probably going to want to build another farm, maybe over here, another farm system, and we'll have a new granary over here. And this time we're going to build a big granary, which should give about 450 storage capacity compared to the small granary, which is only 200. And yep, so we can see that the library is going to cost 12 gold a year, but it's increasing happiness through knowledge. And we're just going to click the treasury and increase the tax rate to 2 gold. And we're just going to click random hovel, and because they're being taxed 2 gold a year, it's -24 happiness. But this library is basically going to cut that out. It's just going to be about -4 once the library is running at full capacity, and we're going to have a lot of gold that we could use for defenses and other buildings. So we should have enough resources right now for the tavern. So we have that selected, and we are going to build the tavern perhaps right along. Actually, this is almost perfect right here. Yep, so that covers almost all of the houses and allows for the expansion a bit westward. So we'll build the tavern there. The tavern is going to increase happiness, but at the cost of food. It's going to consume about 10 food per year, which is not a problem because we're going to be building a new farm system. And now we have a new problem, the plague, and we don't have a hospital. So no one can treat these poor victims, and they're probably going to all die. So what we need to do is immediately look towards a hospital. We want to build a road system down here, but we also need the hospital, which we're clicking, and that takes up almost that entire area, right? So we'll build a hospital right here. Hopefully that has priority. Just going to build our road to make sure that we don't build anything else over that territory. And this might be bad. We have 83 villagers, so losing 9, I don't know if the plague actually spreads. I don't believe it does. But those affected by it will die if you don't have anyone treating them. And the hospital also costs gold to operate, but our expenditure isn't that high. We're only paying for the library and for that one archery tower. So we can afford the hospital. And we're just gonna skip to that being finished. The hospital's just about finished up. We got 4 workers. And you can see these little dudes down here, the little boys. They're in black clothing and they will walk out and treat the peasants. But if they're not within range of the peasants, they can't treat them, and those peasants are going to die. And if we look on the bottom left corner, we could see our current population, which is 85. We have 17 idle people and we have 88 beds. So we're almost at our max. We can build more houses. We're just going to build them along here. Build another cottage. And it should still be in range of everything. I know we do have our well here. So that's outside the well range, and we're going to need to build a new one. But we'll probably do it over here so we can cover this area. And one of the things we were planning on doing was creating a new farm system right here. A little 9x9. So that is going to end right there. And then we'll build a granary over here. We're going to build a big one this time. But we need 50 wood. Okay. So we're having a little bit of a wood issue or a supply issue with the wood. So what we might want to consider doing is building another forester. So we'd want to build it by... over here is good. So it's too far from the road and there's already trees there. So we're going to chop that. We're going to chop a path towards that area. We have started construction on the new forestry building. We have about 40 wood right now, so that's very close to what we need for the granary, which is 50. We'll just check the advisor updates. Peasants are unhappy and took too long to store the harvest, but that's okay because we're still averaging around 200 food right now. So no one's in... we're not worried about peasants starving at the moment. And we do have a great surplus of stone, so we're not going to have to worry about that resource for a long time, I think. That's going up. We have 45 wood. Let's speed this up. Okay, now we're at 50 wood, so here's our square again. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to build a granary starting from there. And we'll just have it face the farm system. Now the granary is built, it gives an extra 450 storage, and we can start setting up our new farm system. We're probably missing space here, but it's not too bad. We can handle it. Deal with that. Yeah, so while they're dealing with the fire, we're going to build new farms. And you can see we cannot build over here. We don't have access too far from the roads. That's always something you have to remember. So we're just going to extend the road system out a bit. Okay, so now we should be able to build. And we'll build our farm in that square. And then we'll build a windmill when we have the resources available. We do have the 2 foresters working now. So wood should be a lot easier accessible. Shouldn't take as long. We have a new cottage going up. And we're just going to let that finish. Okay, now we have enough resources to build that windmill. So we'll just place it down. And then that's going to increase the productivity of the farms, which is a good thing because we've suddenly run out of food. And this can happen very easily if your farms get flooded. So you also want to remember to build orchards so that you don't get screwed that way. And we're just going to build one right next to the granary. Okay, we have a dragon sighting, so this is timely. I was going to say that the food is one of our most important resources. We need to have food, otherwise villages are going to die, and we need to protect that. So we're just going to click on the well, and we're going to notice that parts of this area, and like the house and the farms and everything, are outside the well range, which means if a fire breaks out, it can spread. So we're going to build a new well system right here. And now that the dragon is coming in, we're going to click on the archery tower, and unfortunately these guys are all outside the protection zone. So we can see that the archery tower is attacking, and now that the dragon is outside that range, the dragon's free to do whatever he'd like to do. So we need to increase our protection. We're going to go to castle, and we're going to build 2 blocks here so that these blocks can support each other, and we can build a higher tower. And we're going to go about 4 high. We just ran out of resources, but it's going to take a while to build that. And we're just going to watch the action unfold. And over time, the soldier skill does go up, and they do more damage per second. So we're just hoping that the dragon either leaves or this lone archery tower can take care of it. And now we can see what the dragon does, burning down our storage area or stockpile. We're going to lose a pretty penny of wood there. Hopefully. Yep, it's within range of the well, so the villagers should be able to handle that. And oh, looks like the dragon's gonna go at it again. There we go. Trying to burn down our farms. Completely unnecessary, dragon, but there's nothing we can do to stop it because, again, that archery tower out of range. Can't hit him. And that's why we're building these castle blocks, so we can set up a new defense area. And now that the dragon is leaving, did his damage, but we survived it. Nothing was actually destroyed. And we're just going to jump our military advisor, and they're saying that Viking raiders may be coming soon. So we do need this new defense area ready, because this archery tower is protecting a bit of an area, but we need better protection, and we need it quick, because Viking raiders, there's quite a few of them. While they're easier to kill, there's more numbers, so there's more to kill. And here they come. So we're just going to view them. And they're all the way over there. So we got a bit of time because they're going to want to come, or they're going to walk all the way down here after disembarking roughly up there. Now this area is almost finished. We can go to castle, and we're going to select the archery tower, and we can see the range where it's going to protect, and it overlaps a little bit over the hospital. And we're just going to check that. So there should be about full coverage for most of our town at the moment. And we're just going to hope that that archery tower is finished in time as the Vikings come down. The Vikings are making their way down. They're getting pretty close, but the tower is starting to be built. We're just waiting for 18 more wood. This process could be sped up if the wood was closer, but our stockpiles for wood are all the way over here or a little bit in the keep, so there's some distance in traveling. But the Vikings are almost... Oh, they're in the perimeter now. We're just waiting on 6 wood. And they're going to start pillaging and killing. And it's already started. 2 buildings on fire. And they're in the perimeter over here of this archery tower. They've set a bunch of things on fire. This tower is finally up and they're attacking. It appears one of the houses have been burnt down. There's villagers without housing. The forester is on fire. Things are catching fire, even the trees. Alright, so not much damage. Forester was saved, but because it's not in a well system, the fire is spreading throughout the forest. The villagers are trying to quell it, but... Oh, yep, they finally succeeded after a few tiles of trees were burnt down. But so far, we're so good. The Vikings weren't able to do that much damage, and nothing really concerning that I can see from. So we have a decent defense perimeter, and now we have just a couple more things to look at to finish the beginner tutorial. One thing you might have noticed is that villagers are bringing food from the granaries all the way down here. Same with there, and the charcoal production is pretty far away as well. So there's a bit of lost productivity from all that time traveling. So one thing that we can do is go to food and we'll click market, costs a bit of resources, and we can place the market perhaps over here. And this is going to serve a wide area where the peasants don't have to travel so far to get their basic needs. The workers of the market will do that for them, and the peasants can go about their regular jobs rather than worrying about getting food. We're just going to chop down some of these trees, and the range for the foresters to work is around here. And we don't want these guys walking too far either, so what we're going to do is go to industry and build another small stockpile. And yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. We have a burgeoning town, and we haven't run into any real issues, and this is a great way to set up your town so that you could, fully construct it any way you want. We haven't built too many walls yet, but that's going to be coming up in another tutorial. So that's going to end the beginner tutorial for Kingdom and Castles. If this video helped you out, try and leave a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, subscribe, because we will be posting 2 more tutorial videos, a productivity one and a military one. You should have links to that on the left soon. And questions, comments, anything about the game, leave them below. I'm Kiku, together we're online, and we're doing this YouTube thing together.